My professional goals are a little bit of a mixed bag. I would say I don't have like a clear cut, this is what I want to be when I grow up sort of mentality. I am drawn to teaching, so that is in there, and really just exploring the field of psychology and all the ways that it is like sort of transforming and emerging. I'm so excited about what's emerging. And I really found Meridian to be a place that is not only open to the emergence of all this newness. What I've heard from others is that I don't think that you find that often in grad schools. So I appreciate their openness to the emergence, and they really encourage, a kind of a dive into what's happening here and what can you learn from all these different ways of looking at it, instead of just like, no, this is the way that this is what it is and this is how we learn it. There's a lot of openness and expansion to the way they're thinking about things. But quite honestly, I found Meridian on a Google search. And so, really gave myself some time. I went to a lot of the info sessions and whatnot. I chose them because what I was gathering from these info sessions was that what I really felt from them was just like almost like a softness of like, we learn from so much. We learn from this wisdom, poetry, indigenous wisdom, like all these things, these elements that were coming into the conversation from the very beginning. They were very clear. And it was that really did it for me. It was that they take from the fringes of culture, right? And let that inform how the education is happening. And that really spoke deeply to me. I chose my degree initially. I was a master's in counseling psychology. That initially was because I wanted to get licensed as a therapist. As a therapist, I'm a trauma-informed yoga therapist, but I wanted something to kind of become accessible to more people. So that was my initial goal. And then as I got into everything that Meridian has to offer and the way that they are engaging with this education process, I realized that I wanted to take this deeper. And so I switched to a PhD in psychology. My concentration I selected was somatics. I came into Meridian with a background in somatics. Like I said, I'm a trauma-informed yoga therapist. So I was really pretty connected. The knowledge behind somatic psychology in general, and just really had this felt sense of just how important it is and how crucial it is to kind of reconnect body and mind. I feel really excited about the emergence behind what's happening here in the field of psychology when it comes to somatics in general. The body keeps the score, and then even into like Resma Minikim's My Grandmother's Hands, and the way that connecting in with our body knowledge can inform the way that we are showing up and interacting with our world. That feels really exciting to me. My overall experience at Meridian has been really, honestly, so pleasant. And I came in really not knowing what to expect. I've never done any sort of online education before, so I wasn't sure how it was going to play out. I've really enjoyed engaging with the material and my classmates and the faculty, and I find it to be overall really, really pleasant. That's the word I have for it. When it comes to transformative learning, I remember seeing, the graphic that they use a lot in the info session. And I remember thinking this makes a lot of sense. And kind of this sense of anticipation of like, we'll see how this goes. So now that I have completed a few quarters, what I really notice is kind of exactly how they say it. Like, it's just landing in my body. I don't have this stress of like, am I gonna remember this? Am I gonna know how to engage with this material when it comes to real life? I don't have that stress, and I don't have this urgency to memorize facts. And what I've noticed is because it's landing in such a way, then it stays with me. So even quarters later, I'm remembering and offering from something that I had, a class a few quarters back, oh, in this class we talked about this, and even authors and books and things that are just readily available. That translates to my outside of school experience too. It really is just there. And coming from my undergrad and all the school before that, there was a lot of so much stress and so much urgency to keep facts down. I found that what I have needed has been readily available. My experience of the faculty is that I have found them incredibly approachable. I have really appreciated that when I feel Any sense of needing a little bit more guidance or maybe uncertainty. For one, they are not ones to give you, a step-by-step, and that's sort of the whole model of Meridian, which was something to get used to for sure. But in that process, what I have discovered is that there's a trust from them that my innate knowing is there, and the way that I approach it and integrate it and go through this prompt or whatever it is that I'm accessing, it's there. I have what I need, and they trust that. And that is honestly like one of the biggest takeaways of my experience with them is like, oh, they trust me to know how to do this. They're not like trying to get me to memorize how they do it or what they know. They're trusting that I am taking it in and learning how I need to learn it. One thing that I have also appreciated about the faculty is that they really leave space in their classrooms for folks to challenge and disagree, not only them as the faculty, but then with each other too. They're not trying to cultivate classrooms of like intense agreement. And in fact, sort of use those times where there's like some challenge or disagreement as learning opportunities to see how we can expand our awareness and our capabilities to be with the other. And that is something that I've also really come to appreciate about the class. My experience with my fellow students has been wonderful. Really, really love my classmates. And it's so fun to be able to say that because again, coming in, I didn't have experience of online education and I didn't know what to expect there. And all of the relationships that I have formed so far are all online. Truly just so pleasantly surprised with how seen I feel in those relationships. A few of them have deepened into deeper friendships where we're actually connecting outside of class. But then even in the classroom setting or on our Pivot platform, the ways that our classmates really engage with one another, and because this is deep, vulnerable material that we're working through. And my experience has been that we enter this space with humility and just this degree of like, I see you, and so no one is trying to be like, I have the answers or anything like that. It's just like a really like we are learning with and from one another just as much in that community. And I've really, really appreciated that. Currently, I'm taking courses on the standard rate. When I came in to Meridian originally, I started half-time, and that was because I was working a job. I also have 2 children, and I hadn't been into school in like 10 years. And so I didn't really know what to expect, how it would look for me to, be a student as a mom and as a worker. So I started half-time, which was great for me, really allowed me to kind of soften into the transition and know what to expect from Meridian. So I really appreciated having the half-time. I think I did 3/4 half-time. And then when I decided to switch to the PH.D. program, I started doing standard. So now I'm standard and it's great. I have really found a good rhythm with it. I really like it. I was really surprised at what could be cultivated in the online format in the intensive. It was a pretty big group. I can't remember, maybe like 50 of us, including faculty. Like on the Zoom screen, it's boxes and you can't see everyone. But really, because we were coming to it every day and then had our small groups outside of that, and those were the same people every day, really you just kind of go on this journey together for a week where you're all just like, okay, I'm diving in for this whole week. I'm here and this is what I'm doing. And the ways that they have set up the classroom and the breakout groups to really dive deeply into this material. We're well prepared for that, I think, because of the way that Meridian engages their classroom format in general. So then coming into the intensive, you're kind of prepared for, okay, this is going to go deep. It could get kind of hard. But my experience was that it was really well handled. And I really, truly did feel, again, like seen and heard by my fellow classmates and the faculty, and really felt like some deep transformative work was happening. And because I was able to set up a container well here, in my physical home with my family and friends, then I felt like I could really kind of rest into that during the week and then following, after it was done. My professional plans after Meridian are pretty open-ended at this point, which I feel okay about. And I think that is actually kind of something that Meridian has prepared me well for, is this, you know, uncertainty. So my time in undergrad, I had this real, like, this is my plan, I have to stick to it, ABC, you know, check off the list. And it was actually like very stress inducing for me, which I didn't realize until I had some space from it. I don't have that experience this time. You know, like I said, I came in with this plan to do master's in counseling psychology and then switch that because I was excited. I am excited about the research and the emergence in the field of psychology and the way that Meridian is pursuing that and teaching it and facilitating our growth with it as students. So at this point, I am so happy to be in the place of learning and deepening my understanding and my commitment to this field, uncertain as to what the future is. I feel excited about teaching, so that is definitely up there. But yeah, I don't have like an exact model for what I want to happen. And at this point, I feel pretty okay with that.